So the Giants have a quarterback problem.
You got a problem? You know what this is?
These are good problems.
You know what this reminds me of? I was saying that Brian Dable's in love with Jaxson Dart, it seems. But before he knew he had Jaxson Dart, they went out and got Russell Wilson, and they went out and got Jameis Winston. You got a problem? They got a quarterback-heavy room. And know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those days. Danny, you've been there, and I know it's frustrating. You show up to work, and you just bought like a $15 sandwich, and when you get to work, you realize someone brought in pizza for everyone.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, why?
Now you have an abundance of food.
I got my sandwich, but then I got the
That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Oh, I hate that, Sam.
Abundance of food. You take the sandwich home.
For you, you're a bachelor. You're bachelor life. All you do is live off of leftovers.
I hate that.
Then Sam must love the Giants quarterback room then.
Because you know when it gets real aggravating? When you already ate, you just ate that sandwich, and then someone brings a pizza.
That's happened here multiple times to me.
I wouldn't have ate a sandwich if I knew it was free pizza.
Remember there was a time there was New York-style pizza on the counter, and all of us had already eaten lunch. We're like, man.
That's when it's really bad.
You know, Dan Byer, a real update guy. I'm kidding.
No, but that happens.
No argument there.
Dan Byer had bought mulberry pizza from down the block, and I had just bought like a big chicken salad wrap from
Rich just bought dingleberry pizza earlier.
Yep, not mulberry pizza. So anyway, I feel like that pizza analogy is sort of like the Giants, right? It's like you went out and got all this stuff, and then you get to work, and there's pizza. Jaxson Dart, they didn't expect Jaxson Dart. I think Brian Dable may have thought it could happen, but what do the Giants do? And I ask you to look into your NFL crystal ball.
I think it's an easy solution here. You let them fight for the job.
Some of the food is going to be thrown out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
All right, you got dingleberry pizza on the left. You got mulberry pizza on the right.
Wait, you have
May the best pizza win.
Hold on. You have stale cutlets.
You got some stale cutlets there, right? What are you choosing? You take a little sample of all of it, and you're like, you know what? Mulberry wins. But whoever steps up, whoever's the best, that's who gets it. And it's probably going to be Russell Wilson because he's got the most experience.
We've seen Covino.
And then Dart's on standby.
But Jameis Winston is a gunslinger, the most likable guy in the NFL.
Yeah, he also has a broadcasting job to fall back on.
That's true. But I ask you this. If you are an NFC East fan and you saw Jaden Daniels go from college football straight into becoming a star, it goes to the NFC Championship game. We've seen young quarterbacks step right in, but then you've seen other guys like when Aaron Rodgers sat around for a couple of years, Alex Smith had the job for a minute before they said, all right, Mahomes, it's your chance. There's still that argument, do you throw the young guy to the wolves or do you let him sit and chill for a year? And
yeah, it could be a great learning experience for Dart.
But you know that...
And do you want to throw him out there with a team that might not be ready?
You know that Jaxson Dart is not only loved by Brian Dable and that Giants coaching staff, who apparently fell in love with him during the interview process. The fan base in New York is going to love this guy. He's cut from a cloth of like, this guy's a gritty, fun, likable guy. So I wonder, the first second Russell Wilson has a rough game, and the Giants will have a rough game. They're not going to be great. What is everyone going to be saying? Dart. And I feel like you put yourself in a weird situation. So
that's going to happen. You can't control the fans now screaming Dart because Wilson's having a bad game.
Do you have to have
That's going to happen, man.
Do you have to have the discipline? Do you have to have the discipline to say, no, Russell Wilson, we got him. He is our quarterback.
If he earns it.
He is a Super Bowl winner unless he poops the bed in OTAs and, preseason games. If they decide that, right? You have to stick with it.
You have to stick with it. You can't be wishy-washy. As the coach and leader of the team, you have to make it clear to all the fans and everybody, he is our starter, end of the story.
And you have to, as a fan and as a coach, Brian Dable, the Giants have to say, we know Jaxson Dart is the future, but not right now. And that is very, very tough to do. Think about anything in life, relationships, work, marriage, stuff with your family and kids. When you have to patiently wait for something. I read a quote that I live by because I'm terrible at it. He or she who masters patience can master anything. And to be patient with work, with your children, with your spouse. Patience is not easy. I mean, do you know?
It's a lost virtue these days. Patience
Honestly,
with strangers is especially lost
I had
virtue.
I had to order my kid like a baseball belt and socks for the little all-star team. And Amazon's like, it'll be here in a day. I'm like, a day? I want it tomorrow morning. Like, we are so, is it Ronnie Chen, the comedian?
Ronnie Chang.
He does a bit, Prime Now. Like, we don't even want Amazon to deliver the next day. If it was up to us, we'd be like, could the guy be here in an hour? Prime Now. We are so impatient that I wonder if the New York impatient media, coaches, fans, can they wait for Russell Wilson to lead and for Jaxson Dart to take his time and get there eventually?
I think that's the plan. Stan, I don't even think he's your backup. Why put him out there to fail? You get some reps, get some snaps in there when they can, when they're winning. Winston's your backup.
Yeah, Broski.
And they learn from him, and he gets some playing time. He gets some experience. So, unless, of course, he's that much better than everybody else.
Even if he is, I don't think you'd do it right now. But I think what you're seeing is a Giant fan base that really loves Jaxson Dart.
What makes you bring this up, though?
Only because I was doing my prep because I'm so diligent. And there's just an article about how Brian Daboll loves Jaxson Dart, and he's like so far along. And when at OTAs, like everything about this guy.
Oh, is that why his relationship status on Facebook says it's complicated?
Yeah, that's that's exactly why.
Because I knew he was in love with Dart, but I didn't know what that meant. Okay, fair enough. Those are good problems, man.
Yeah.
You know, options, they're confusing. I get it. But good problems you want to have.
I don't know, though. Ask the Browns. Like, they have, 5 quarterbacks now. They have Shador. They have the kid from Oregon. They have
Watson.
Deshaun Watt. Yeah. I forgot about him. They have, and then they have the vet.
Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco.
Hey, I was saying, have you ever been in a scenario? I can only imagine
I think they have
this.
too many. The Browns and the Giants have too many options.
I can only imagine, being that you're the studly stud you are. Have you ever had a situation, I was Sam, where you were torn between multiple women?
I have, yeah.
That's what I was thinking about, honestly. It's like they're real problems because it's
silly,
hard
but
to make the decision.
But it makes you kind of crazy.
Wait,
you're
it makes you
I just
crazy,
want to settle with one person.
But, dude, it's better than having no options.
Okay, but
Yes.
besides us not knowing who Dart's going to be in the NFL yet, I think he'll probably turn out to be a pretty good quarterback, but all signs point that direction. But what's the old saying in the NFL? If you have 2 backup quarterbacks, you have no quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's great that you could stockpile, an unknown commodity with guys that probably are at best backup quarterbacks in the league. Where are you at?
Where you at?
But by the end of actual training camp and practice and stuff, when they have to cut the roster down, some of these guys on both the Browns and the Giants are not going to be. They're not going to have a 4th and 5th string quarterback, right? They don't usually do that.
Which is why
they have a backup and they have a 3rd string.
Which is why when I watch dumb reality shows with my wife, I can understand why one of these doofuses is like, I love both of them.
Yeah, it's confusing.
There are times
because
that
you start weighing the pros and cons of each person, just like you do in relationships.
I mean, Russell Wilson is like the Super Bowl winner.
Russell Wilson has a nice ass.
Yeah.
But man,
compare 2 women. Russell Wilson's the former supermodel that's still pretty hot, but not what they used to be. And Dart is like the unproven, I don't know if she's just a club hussy or not. You don't know.
he's still excited and young and vibrant.
Yeah.
You feed off that energy.
But maybe annoying because they were young.
Maybe, yeah. No, I mean, it is the same thing. And if you've been there in relationships, it's that times a million because the NFL, lots at stake, and these are high-paid players with lots of competitive juices flowing. But may the best man win. I think it's not great, but it's better than having nothing.